Mimi Mefo and Fo for facilitating the task for us to be able to reach um, um, more people in different parts of the world. Thank you again for being here on another Saturday. I see we're running behind schedule in terms of people waking up to join the show. I would really love to wait for critical mass to give this another 3 to 4 minutes. We kick off the show at 9:15. Leopold, I don't know what you think.
Right, Harry.
Yeah.
Tout à fait. Accordons encore 2-3 minutes. C'est avec les...
Okay. And I should use the, I'll play
le,
the jingle
le
again.
samedi. Et puis ceux qui quittent les réunions de famille pour se connecter rapidement, parce que ce qu'on va dire aujourd'hui est important. Le démarrage d'aujourd'hui.
Right. Okay. So I'll do this again. Here we go. Good morning again, everybody. I say good morning because I'm in part of the world where it's morning. But good afternoon and good evening to you all and thank you for joining us today for another critically important show hosted by Project C. But really today, this moment, this show, this moment is going to be crucial in the history that we hope to write, that we will write for our country, Cameroon, and hence the delay, because we wanted to ensure that we had critical mass at the beginning of this show. In the last few weeks, we have had a conversation about this national engagement campaign or strategy that we have, which we have titled Once and For All. Once and For All being, it has taken us 65 years to get here. And in those 65 years, we've gone through so many challenges as a country. Knowing what we know now, knowing what we have learned from all the experiences, the broken hearts, the conflicts, the people we've buried, families we've lost. We think that we've gotten to the point, the crossroads in the history of our country, where once and for all we can sit down and resolve all of these issues with clear eyes. Not because of an election, not because of power, not because of any one individual, but for all of us and for generations to come. So today we're going to take the first step in this campaign, which would be beginning launching surveys that we hope we can be able to reach 300,000 people in Cameroon and in the diaspora who would express themselves about the kind of Cameroon that they want. So this moment is as critical a moment in our history as the moment where we obtain the independence of our country, Cameroon. And so we are deeply grateful that you're here with us, and we look forward to an exciting 90 minutes ahead of us as we unveil the strategies around how we're going to achieve this goal and how you, each one of us, is going to participate in this process. I'm going to stop here. Je vais inviter mon frère Léopold à vous accueillir, à accueillir notre audience en français.
Merci, Harry. Merci beaucoup. Nous disons vraiment un grand merci à notre aimable audience, celle qui nous fait vraiment l'honneur de nous suivre aussi bien sur notre plateforme Zoom que sur les autres plateformes, Minimefo, Rebecca Inarchan, sur X, sur Facebook et autres. Vraiment, merci beaucoup et soyez les bienvenus. Pour ce jour qui, en fait, marque le lancement effectif de notre campagne, notre sondage. En fait, de quoi s'agit-il? Nous avons l'ambition de réunir les Camerounais du monde entier, de la République, de la diaspora, à travers ce sondage qui consiste en fait à les amener à se prononcer sur le Cameroun que nous voulons. Quel genre de Cameroun nous voulons? Le sondage est vraiment simple, très très facile à établir et nous avons vraiment l'ambition de toucher 1% des Camerounais, soit à peu près 300 000 personnes. Et nous sommes confiants que les Camerounais vont adhérer massivement à cette opération, à ce sondage-là, qui devrait durer quoi? Nous avons prévu 2 semaines.
Oui, 2 semaines.
De sondage. Nous avons prévu 2 semaines. Nous allons rentrer un peu plus en détail là-dessus. Et nous souhaitons vraiment que les Camerounais enfin décident de participer à la rédaction d'une nouvelle page de notre histoire. Cette campagne, une bonne fois pour toutes. Nous le souhaitons vraiment et nous avons bon espoir. Malgré ce que Nicolas Murray Butler, un grand penseur, qui disait « Le monde se divise en 3 catégories. Une première catégorie qui fait se produire les événements. Et puis, il y a un groupe un tout petit peu plus grand qui s'assure que ces événements-là se produisent, qui mettent des moyens. Et la troisième catégorie, celle à laquelle nous appartenons et qui ne sait même jamais ce qui s'est passé. Alors, nous voulons en réalité savoir ce qui se passe. Donc, il est important que nous prenions part à cette rédaction de notre histoire. C'est quelque chose d'unique. Tu l'as assez bien dit, tu l'as vraiment dit. C'est quelque chose d'unique. On n'a jamais consulté les gens à cet effet et je pense que le résultat va surprendre plus d'une personne. Donc voilà un peu. Vraiment bienvenue et merci d'être là.
Merci beaucoup, Leopold. At this time, I'm going to bring in Eric. Eric, if you can come in and as always, please contextualize this. Let's talk a little bit about developments in Cameroon, but really contextualizing this as to why this moment is important, looking at the state and health of our country, Cameroon, because yes, this goes back 65 years, but even as we speak, with everything that's unfolding in our country and around the world, there's never been a time that has been more vital for an action like this.
Thanks, Sari. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks. Again, another very interesting week.
Okay.
Leopold?
Yes, cool.
Okay, great. As I was saying, another very interesting week for us, Cameroonians. And to some extent, even to us as Africans. I think a number of actions or a number of things happened this week that we should be paying attention to, and that's my whole point. When I take the floor, it's to maybe underscore some of the things that might have happened that would have gone by without much notice, but are important within the context of the global story, and that's why I find it necessary to to put the spotlight on these things. Obviously, the one thing that really got my attention and held my attention this week was the state of health, of the president's health, of Mr. Biya's health. And we know it's important, I mean, especially for us in Cameroon, but I can guarantee you a lot of Africa is watching. You may have heard of an initiative which was launched a few months ago called the Global Africa Brief. Global Africa Brief. It's an effort by Africans initially in the United States, but now it's expanding to include other Africans. But this initiative is to define a whole new voice of Africa in America. And it's being led by a team that includes Cameroonians, Ugandans, South Africans, Zimbabweans, and I think increasingly we'll start seeing some Africans from the French-speaking countries coming on board. And the whole idea of the Global Africa Brief is to put developments on the continent in a perspective that others will understand and relate to Africa in ways that are meaningful, rather than constantly reading the continent through the smoke screen, if you like, of the powers that be. A lot of how Africa is perceived has been determined over the years, from pre-colonial to the colonial and post-colonial independence days. We've always seen Africa through the lens of the powers that be. There's a genuine effort now to ensure that the Africa story is told from an African perspective, and for the most part by Africans. That is what the Global Africa Brief is all about. And you'll be hearing about it in the coming weeks, in the coming months, coming years, by this diaspora African effort, which obviously is stretching to include Africans on the continent, to tell our story the way we want it told, the way we want it heard, the way we want it interpreted. So that development is taking place this past week. It caught on in some unexpected ways, and you'll be hearing more about it. And I hope that anybody listening to us now, all of you, would try to find interest in this. Go on the web, look for the Global Africa Brief. And I speak as one of the initiators of that of the program. This week marked an important development, and within this week, as we're talking, the editorial board was talking about the Global Africa Brief. One of the big stories that stood out for those of us who were in attendance was Mr. Biya's health. And there is still, you remember last week we talked about it, and I said, well, it'll be helpful if the government of Cameroon were to come out with a statement on where things stand with regard to the president's health. It's nothing wrong with that if people are aware. If there's nothing to hide, why would there be anything to hide with regard to the health of the president? Why? Except, of course, people who are working against the interests of Cameroon. The good news, I think, is Mr. Biya is still around. It's not passed on. That's the good news. The bad news is, as in opposition to what the minister, because they reacted, the minister issued a statement. The Minister of Communications, the spokesperson of the government, issued a statement on Mr. Biya's health. That was important and necessary. But I don't know if any of you saw the statement. It essentially said, Mr. Biya is doing fine. He's run a few tests, but he's okay. That's what he said, essentially. Did not go into what those tests results were. We do know that the president is probably not going to be home soon, because the problem has to be taken care of. And if we could tell citizens where things stand, then they'll understand why the president may be out for another month or for another 2 weeks or even another week. So I will again call on someone I have a lot of respect for, Mr. Sadi Rene, who's the Minister of Communications and spokesperson of the government. I'll call on Mr. Sadi Rene to brave it and tell those who want to twist the communication, the central message of the president's health, to allow Cameroonians to follow the process, pray for the president if they need to, support what's going on, because the truth will out. And we keep saying this. It is the truth that will save us. And that truth, with regard to Mr. Biya, will come out. So we're calling on them again on this program to issue a statement about the state of health of the President of the Republic. It's important. And not to debunk what Jean Afrique said, what we said last week, and a good senior member of this cabal, of this group of Project C, recalled that the process is similar. What's happening in Cameroon is similar to what happened in Gabon weeks before President Bongo passed away. He had been in hospital in Spain. That essentially declared him, well, he was given a short time to be around, and they tried to keep it from the Gabonese people. Jean Afrique put it out, and of course, there was the denial. So we're seeing this play out again in Cameroon, and we hope that there'll be more respect for the Cameroonian citizens by its government. One of the things and I'll try to go faster, Ari. I know you all think I'm being very slow, but I'm slow because I'm an old man and I have to think before I say what I say, and those thoughts don't come in as quickly as they should all the time. But the next thing I wanted to focus on is I told you I'll always find a senior member of the ruling political elite in Cameroon. I'll always try to find one person who's willing to engage with me and talk to them. And I'll try to find one every week and talk to them. So I did this week, of course, and it was to a senator, a sitting senator, a very senior person in the leadership of the country. And we talked about two things. One, the ITB, Issa Tchiroma Bakary, the president-elect, and about the Constitution. Now, with regard to the president-elect, this senator feels we must engage. We have to engage. He believes very firmly that a mediated process will help bring a solution to this. Nobody should be running away from it. So there's growing acceptance within the ruling class in Cameroon that there should be a give and take in the search for a solution to the process of change in Cameroon. In other words, Mr. Tchiroma cannot get everything he wants, but this regime, which is rightly described as illegitimate, should not get all it wants. But then there's got to give and take, because we're talking about Cameroonians now. Everybody is, we're all Cameroonians. And they're good people on both sides. So this senator wants me to, and he wants to get in touch with Mr. Tchiroma. And I can tell you that we will try to establish that connection. If not, I'll probably have to find out if Mr. Tchiroma is willing to talk to him, and then get them to talk. Because I see hope in it. I don't see how else we're going to go forward. I say this taking full responsibility for what I say. I'm not sure, there are great initiatives by the president-elect. You all know about the case in Paris, which will shed the light on outcomes or what's going on in Cameroon, put the spotlight on that and tell the world what the truth is. And that might create the international pressure we need for the government in place to act. But whatever the action is, it's ultimately going to be a negotiated solution. And not a one-sided negotiation, I'm talking about a mediated solution. That's what's going to be best for the country. And I hope we can start talking about that so that Mr. Tchiroma doesn't feel he's betraying the people who elected him. But this government doesn't feel Tchiroma is irrelevant. He's important to the solutions of our country. And it is time we all, I was talking to, again, in this discussion with the senator, I said, Cameroonians have to want a solution to the crisis. And not only want it, but express it in ways that make sense. And when Mr. Tchiroma says it, says, when you're ready for me, I will come. Let me give you an example. The opposition leadership in Cameroon is not with Mr. Tchiroma. The opposition leadership. And I think until we can see evidence that that group of people, the Cabral leaders of the world, and Joshua Osei, and Buba Bello, and Kerry Muna, you name it, they have to take a stand for change, and they're not. And until they do, I think it's going to be an uphill task for Mr. Tchiroma. And this senator literally agreed with that, and I think he wants to step in, and at the appropriate time, I've told him we'll be more than happy to bring him in to have a discussion with this group. So that's where we are on that. As we spoke, he commented on the constitution we're working on. They follow what we're doing. And he says many of them are hopeful that this process will lead to something every Cameroonian can relate to. This is coming from a sitting senior member of the system in place, very senior member. So I think we should just keep going. We should do what it takes to bring this process to a logical end. A constitution, the logical end, a constitution that every Cameroonian can be proud of. I was listening to President Obama during the inauguration a few days ago of the Obama Center, Presidential Center in Chicago, in Chicago. And essentially, what he talked about was the work that Americans have to continue to do to uphold the Constitution that was written 250 years ago. That's what has kept the country what it is. And I immediately sent a message to Array and Elizabeth and Leopold and all the team to say, hey, this speech has to be made in Cameroon. Not today. We have to envisage an adapted version of the Obama speech in 10 years, in 20 years, in 100 years in Cameroon. That's what we're talking about with regard to this constitution. We will come out with a document every Cameroonian will be proud of, and do not let anybody throw obstacles in the process. Oh, you guys cannot you don't have a political party, you don't have members in parliament, you don't know. That's not who we're talking to. We're talking to Cameroonians. We're listening to them, and we'll take their ideas and build them into a document Cameroon will be proud of, Africa will be proud of, and the world would realize how these things happen. We're all proud of the American Constitution because we learned a lot from it. But if we adapt our own to our reality, to the African reality, the world would learn something in the process. And that's what we're trying to achieve. So anyway, I had this very healthy discussion with the member of the Senate, and we've agreed to reconnect and to, stay close to the process as it goes. The final thing I just want to talk about is Funding. It'll be 10 years soon since the war started, the so-called Anglophone War in Cameroon, the war in which the two regions of Cameroon, the northwest and southwest regions, were taken to task by the central government. It'll be 10 years soon. Prior to that, there are people who were arrested before they even engaged in the war. Prior to that, we can, Ayub Tabe and his leadership team was arrested after the war started. But there are other folks who were arrested before the war started. They were arrested for demonstrating, and 10 years later, they're still in jail. I'll name Thomas Awa, Felix Ngalim, Mancho Bibixi, and so on. These, I mention these names because I'm in touch with them regularly, and I know what they're going through. They're journalists, so that they easily can talk to me or send me messages. Isn't it time the parliament in Cameroon, as has been the request by one civil society actor, isn't it time for parliament in Cameroon to discuss this war and insist on its coming to an end? That discussion is taking place within civil society in Cameroon this week. But we need to say it, and all of us need to step up and have our voices heard, that this discussion needs to take place at the level of parliament, if nowhere else. If nowhere else. Because the presidency has decided they wouldn't do it. The prime minister attempted with the grand national dialogue. He didn't go anywhere. So it's time we put pressure on the representatives of the people, if they really are, if they truly are, to bring the subject to parliament. They're going to be meeting soon for the June session. Please write, call, talk to, insist upon this discussion being tabled. If those political leaders in parliament, Joshua Osei and the rest of them, who will not support Tchiroma's claim, even though they know it's true, who will not support the change we want, let them at least insist on this subject being tabled in parliament, so that 10 years later we can see what went wrong, we can discuss it and find solutions to it. So this was, I thought I'd bring the Kondingi story, to close my remarks of today. Please let us leave here going forward with a clear sense of some of the things we need to be talking about next week. Eric, I hope I didn't take, I know it took too long, I know that.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Eric. I'm probably going to, if there are things that Leopold wants to emphasize from the points that you raised, but if without which we can certainly move forward to introducing our campaign. Leopold, if there's something you want to highlight.
Oui, merci Harry. Pas facile de résumer ce qu'Eric a dit et qui était très, très important. C'est peut-être pas facile, mais je pense qu'il est bon de noter la création, la naissance du groupe Africa Global Brief, AGB. qui regroupe beaucoup d'Africains de différentes nationalités, des Sud-Africains, des Camerounais, des Ougandais et autres. Il fait partie des créateurs de ceux qui ont mis en place cette initiative-là et qui a le noble objectif de changer le narratif quand il s'agit des pays africains. C'est-à-dire qu'il faut maintenant que ce soit les Africains eux-mêmes qui relatent les faits qui se passent dans le continent. Et le cas du Cameroun fait partie des sujets qu'ils ont eu à débattre, dont ils ont eu à débattre. Et pour ceux qui voudraient avoir un peu plus d'informations dessus, il y a un site web qui a été créé à cet effet-là. Puis, Eric a aussi évoqué l'état de santé du président, qui est très préoccupant, mais avec quand même quelques espoirs, parce que bon, il a relaté le communiqué du gouvernement d'il y a 2 jours par le porte-parole du gouvernement et qui rappelait toujours un démenti qui avait eu lieu en son temps lorsque le président Omar Bongo était hospitalisé en Espagne. Et ça avait aussi fait l'objet d'un démenti. Et donc, l'opinion au Cameroun fait le rapprochement avec le démenti de notre porte-parole d'il y a 2 jours. Et nous pensons que ça aurait été plus utile que le gouvernement fasse un communiqué, un point sur l'état de santé du président, parce que c'est quelque chose qui intéresse tous les Camerounais, c'est public. Et puis, bon, nous avons aussi noté, toujours parlant de ce communiqué, que le porte-parole a dit que le chef de l'État se portait bien et qu'il rentrerait au Cameroun dans les prochains jours. Bon, nous connaissons déjà l'expression des prochains jours depuis le mois de décembre, où le gouvernement devait être formé dans les prochains jours. Donc, nous disons que nous gagnerions à tenir les Camerounais plus informés sur l'évolution des choses. Et puis, Eric a aussi parlé de la conversation, l'importante conversation qu'il a eue avec un sénateur au Cameroun de haut rang, de très haut rang, parce que déjà, quand on est sénateur, on est de haut rang. Bon, ben, celui-là est important dans le dispositif politique du pays. Et donc, il reconnaît que c'est ça qui nous intéresse en fait. Il reconnaît que pour pouvoir s'en sortir au Cameroun, il serait bon que nous soyons ouverts à une perspective de médiation. Et de ce point de vue, il serait prêt à pouvoir y contribuer. Donc, Eric prendra attache avec le président élu, Issa Tchiroma Bakary, pour savoir comment cela pourrait être envisagé. Mais le Cameroun a besoin de s'en sortir et la médiation, de notre humble avis, reste la seule voie véritable, en tout cas. Donc voilà brièvement ce que j'ai pu capter.
Le 10e anniversaire de la guerre du Nozo.
Ah oui, le 10e anniversaire de la guerre du Nozo, oui, 2016-2026. Et il serait plus que urgent que lors de la session parlementaire de ce mois, que les députés puissent clairement poser ce problème auprès, c'est-à-dire à l'Assemblée. Il faudrait qu'on puisse trouver une solution. Il y en a qui ont été arrêtés, qui ont été interpellés avant cet événement, et puis Sissoko Ayouk et puis ses partisans, ses collègues sont en prison. On attend la suite, mais il serait bon que les députés puissent vraiment se saisir de cette affaire pour qu'on trouve une l'issue. Tout cela participe de la réconciliation du Cameroun que nous recherchons tant, qui nous préoccupe à President. Donc, voilà un peu, Eric.
Merci beaucoup, Leopold.
Quelques
Very
corrections de mon côté.
Very, very pertinent conversations that Eric raised, and this is why we have to do what we have to do, because everything else is a band-aid, a band-aid solution. But if we can really just step back for a moment and reflect on the kind of country that we want, that will never again put ourselves in a situation where the rights of our people are trampled upon, people feel like they do not belong to a country. All of these things all have accumulated in the last 65 years and led us to where we are today, and it is shameful. But we have hope that if we come together, if we work together, if we stand together, if we think together, if we quarrel and express ourselves, we can find peace and hope at the end of the day. So we are going to, let me just introduce this music video, which talks about this campaign, and hopefully it inspires those who will be listening to it the first time. I'll play it first in French, and then we can talk and we'll listen to it later on in English. So let me see how this works. Yeah.
No, 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 no. Pendant des décennies, les Camerounais ont regardé l'espoir leur glisser entre les doigts. Des décisions concernant notre avenir prises à huis clos, nos voix noyées par le pouvoir et la politique. Encore et encore, on nous a dit qui nous sommes et ce que nous devons accepter. Le destin du Cameroun a été façonné par d'autres. Les Camerounais se réveillent et exigent le changement. Quel genre de pays voulons-nous? Qu'est-ce qui fait de nous des Camerounais? L'âme du Cameroun est façonnée, non par ce qui nous divise, mais par ce qui nous unit. Et quel genre de pays voulons-nous? Qu'est-ce qui fait de nous des Camerounais? Imaginez un mouvement, non pas de politiciens, mais du peuple. Imaginez chaque coin de ce pays, chaque hameau, village, ville, cité, chaque région, se levant ensemble avec un seul objectif, pas pour une élection, pas pour le pouvoir, mais pour une seule nation, une fois pour toutes. Imaginez mettre le pays au-dessus de soi, l'amour au-dessus de la haine. Le Cameroun, non la tribu, la langue, ni la région. L'âme du Cameroun est façonnée, non par ce qui nous divise, mais par ce qui nous unit. Imaginez un mouvement, non pas de politiciens, mais du peuple. Ce n'est pas un rêve, c'est le projet, c'est... Imaginez les vendeurs de rue, les conducteurs de moto-taxi, les syndicats, les chefs traditionnels, les professionnels et la diaspora. Travaillant ensemble partout pour quelque chose de plus grand que chacun de nous. Pour la première fois, nous, le peuple, nous réunirons pour répondre aux questions les plus difficiles, les plus importantes. Comment enfin mettre au repos les fantômes du passé et créer un avenir où chaque citoyen a sa place. Ouais. Au cours des 4 prochains mois, nous écouterons, nous débattrons, nous rédigerons une nouvelle constitution. Une constitution qui reflète notre diversité, nos rêves, notre détermination à bâtir un Cameroun de dignité, de paix et de prospérité. C'est un mouvement et du peuple pour le peuple. Plus de décisions prises pour nous, sans nous. Plus plus d'attente pour avoir la permission d'espérer.
Un nouveau Cameroun
est possible. Non déterminé par notre passé
colonial,
mais par notre avenir commun. Rejoignez le mouvement pour un nouveau
Cameroun.
C'est le projet c'est un mouvement né du peuple.
Pour le peuple, un nouveau Cameroun est possible.
Rejoignez
le mouvement pour un nouveau Cameroun.
So that was the expression. In fact, the music video envelopes everything that we have been talking about. We had somebody volunteer to do the music for us, and we had some young people take the music and put it in this video format. But it's a way for us to engage people across the country. Léopold, est-ce que vous avez des commentaires? Je t'ai vu en train de danser.
Une musique aussi engageante, une musique aussi entraînante, avec des paroles aussi profondes. Vraiment, je crois que tout commentaire serait superflu. Vraiment, il faut simplement écouter ça et que cette musique soit des génériques, que ça devienne même notre générique de tout. Donc, vraiment, c'est superbe, c'est formidable.
Absolutely. We're trying to reach people everywhere. So we have it in French, we have it in English. I'm going to play the same message out in English. And like, you know, in the midweek, we're going to also have it in Pidgin. That will be also so that we can reach everybody. And we're going to drop the links. We've put it on Project C's YouTube page so that we can monitor how people are downloading and are listening.
Il faudrait qu'on songe aussi à avoir une version foufoulée. Je crois que c'est capable de nous sortir ça.
Oui, oui. Yes. Ça serait très intéressant si on peut avoir ça en plusieurs langues. Ben on va donc essayer. So I'll play this in English, and after that I'll drop the links in the chat here. But we're also having the links that are going on our YouTube page that's going to be posted on the other platforms that people are watching. And we really encourage people to click on it, like it, subscribe to our YouTube page, but share it with your networks and your friends and listen to it and play it when you have your Njangi meetings, your student association meetings that you're going to be having this weekend with friends. I know Sunday is a big day for Njangi meetings, but just play the music. It's deep, it's profound. The lyrics are incredibly important for the moment that we are in. So people should listen to the lyrics. I'm going to play this in English now.
For decades, Cameroonians have watched us hope slip through our fingers. Decisions about our future made behind closed doors. Our voices drowned out by power and politics again and again. We have been told who we are and what we must accept. Cameroon's destiny has been shaped by others. Cameroonians are waking up and demanding change.
What kind of country do we want?
What makes us
Cameroonian?
The soul of Cameroon
is shaped
not by what divides us,
but by what
Imagine a movement not of politicians, but of people. Imagine every corner of this country, every hamlet, village, town, city, every region, rising together with one purpose, not for an election, not for power, but for one nation, once and for all. Imagine putting country over self, love over hate. Cameroon, not tribe, language, not region. The soul of Cameroon is shaped not by what divides us, but by what unites us. Imagine a movement not of politicians, but of people. This is not a dream, this is Project C. Imagine the street vendors, the motorcycle taxi drivers, the trade unions, traditional rulers, professionals, and the diaspora, working together everywhere for something bigger than any one of us. Oh, for the first time we, the people, will come together to answer the hardest, most important questions. How do we finally lay to rest the ghost of the past and create a future where every citizen belongs? Over the next 4 months, we will listen, we will debate, we will draft a new constitution. Oh, one that reflects our diversity, our dreams, our determination to build a Cameroon of dignity, peace, and prosperity. This is a movement born of the people, for the people. No more decisions made for us, without us. No more waiting for permission to hope. A new Cameroon is possible. Hey, not determined by our colonial past, but by our common future. Join the movement for a new Cameroon. This is Project C. This is a movement born of the people, for the people. A new Cameroon is possible. Join the movement for a new Cameroon. Join the movement for a new Cameroonian.
Well, the message couldn't have been more clearer. I think this encompasses what we're trying to achieve. And this should create an opportunity for every Cameroonian everywhere to see themselves as part of an initiative like this. We hope that this can touch the hearts and minds of Cameroonians across the country, and hopefully in the next few months and next few weeks we can have, actually next week, because I know there's a team that's working on the Pidgin version, we'll also have that. And all of these are going to be posted on, like I said, on our YouTube page. I'm dropping the links in the chat here shortly, so everyone is going to have the video. And please share it with as many people as possible. And that should give us some mileage, but it's also going to tell us about the number of people that are listening to it, that are, and also sharing it. So if you are on the show today, I'm dropping in here the English version, so you can like and share it. And then I'm also just now going to drop the French version, and you can also like and share it with your networks. After this show, we're going to have it put out on the WhatsApp forums, so people can like and share it as well. And then it's also going to go out on other platforms. But critically, it's liking, sharing, and subscribing to the YouTube page, which we're going to keep really, really engaged all through in the next 2 weeks as we work on the surveys. Talking about the surveys, we're going to introduce here today the full, I think it's 20 question survey, which is a short form survey. And it's going to be just basically multiple choice questions, but for the so you can, very simple to answer. Everything is going to be done on Google Forms. And there's several reasons why we choose to do that, because we want this to be authentic. We want the true expression of Cameroonian voices. We want, there would be unique responses, meaning that each Cameroonian can only take the survey once, so that one voice, one vote in the process. So we would ask for you to log into Google to be able to do this. We would have an entire strategy on the ground to educate people who may not have the technical capabilities to do it, or maybe do not have Gmail access. But we felt that it was really important to authenticate the process. So, Leopold, if you want to just introduce the subject here about how we're going to do the surveys.
Oui, nous lançons le sondage là, et pour l'instant, c'est sa version courte. C'est une vingtaine de questions en Google Form, extrêmement facile. C'est des questions sous forme de QCM, donc des questions choix multiples, très facile à remplir. Et c'est en ligne et c'est sous la forme, la forme Google Form, qui est très, très, très répandue. Bon, nous voulions absolument que ce soit un processus authentifié, donc sur Google Form, la disposition qui a été prise pour éviter des remplissages des réponses multiples, des questionnaires multiples, c'est qu'il faudrait y introduire son adresse email. Bon, on aurait pu penser au numéro de téléphone, mais Google Form estime que la manière la plus authentique d'éviter des doubles réponses de questionnaire, c'est l'adresse email. Nous nous y conformons, mais les questions sont vraiment faciles. Elles sont très, très faciles. Et voilà, ça va être lancé dès aujourd'hui et sera disponible en ligne sur les différentes plateformes aussi. Sur les différentes plateformes, vous pourrez avoir le lien pour vous y connecter. Et nos partenaires dans le pays vont se charger d'administrer ce questionnaire-là dans les zones rurales, les zones reculées, et même au besoin les traduire dans les langues maternelles, dans les langues locales au besoin. Mais les questions sont vraiment, vraiment simples, c'est des QCM. Voilà.
Yeah, thank you, Leopold, for introducing the subject. I just put the links to the surveys. I'm going to open up one of I'm going to open up the surveys, and we're going to, and I'll share screen so that people can see exactly what it looks like. I'm also going to invite Kinsley, please, if you can help us put out the links on
exactly.
Memo M4 as well, so that not only people here can have access to it, but I'll open up the link in English and make sure that I can share with here on screen, so everybody can see how it looks like. So like we said,
and I just think before we do that, just to welcome the folks on the email. Yeah. And
yes, please, Eric, go ahead.
The podcast. and there are more people actually following this program on Minimefo info and on Felix Ngalim's Beyond Africa podcast and the others. So I think it's, people should know that and listening through those platforms, they're most welcome.
Yes, sorry, Eric, your network has been going up and down. I'm not sure. So we had some challenges getting the complete message from you. But I just to make sure that everybody gets it, is that we're welcoming everybody else on who's joining us from the various platforms, whether it's Bimimefo, whether it's Beyond Africa podcast, Rebecca Enonchon's X page. We just want to recognize your presence. It's more than just the people who are here today. It is people who are joining on those platforms. The links of this survey have been shared. I just checked on Mimimefo platform as well. So I'm inviting people to take a look at it. I just want to run through it so people see how simple it is. And if we are, if people start taking it now, Ivy Davis, who's working with us, who has done the incredible job putting this together, who's been working behind the scenes for Project C, can even give us a perspective on the results that are being that are, in real time as people take the surveys. So that's how we're going to be monitoring it. So this form of the surveys will not be complicated in analysis, because Google surveys, AI is going to do the work that needs to be done. And we should be seeing in real time how people are taking the surveys and participating actively. So let me just share this with you and see. So simply, the survey is just going to be a few questions. There's an introduction.
Tu peux un peu l'agrandir, Arrête, s'il te plaît. Tu peux un peu agrandir.
Let me see.
S'il te plaît. C'est très clair, c'est vrai, mais je dis pour la lisibilité.
Okay, let me try something.
C'est aéré, c'est vraiment facile.
Ça, that's the maximum I can.
Si c'est le maximum, c'est pas grave.
Okay.
On pourra le lire en ligne, c'est bon.
Yes. But it begins with a demographic questions, age group, sex. It talks about what region of the country you're from, professional status. Then it's broken down into sections, and this is incredibly important. There's the demographics. Everybody, we're going to have that. But identity and nationhood questions. This is, we start by asking you whether you're proud of being Cameroonian. And it's a simple question, but very, very pertinent. We talk about, do you believe all ethnic groups are treated equally in Cameroon? So people can reflect on this and think about it. Is it important for the Constitution to protect all languages and cultures in Cameroon? Then we go on to governance and democracy questions. Do you trust in public institutions, government, parliament, the courts? Should presidential terms be included in the Constitution? Do you think elections in Cameroon are free and fair? Who should have the most power in Cameroon? And then we go to the next section that is on corruption and accountability. Has corruption affected you or your community? That's incredibly important. Should there be stronger punishments for corruption in Cameroon? Who should oversee public officials? Who should they report to? Then we have a one about the Anglophone crisis and national cohesion, right? Should all regions have equal say in national matters? is dialogue the best way to resolve the Anglophone crisis? So there are many questions. Should the Constitution guarantee equal rights for Anglophones and Francophones? Then we go on to talk about youth, women, and future questions and the future. And this has to do with essentially the majority of Cameroonians. Do young people have enough opportunities in Cameroon? Are women given equal chances to lead in politics and society? Should citizens have more say in how the country is governed? Then we go to the constitutional renewal and future questions. And we're asking what is most important for Cameroonians in the future. And there's a list of things there that we want Cameroonians to express themselves on. Should citizens participate directly in writing a new constitution? This is a pertinent question. And then we have general questions, which is, what is the biggest challenge facing Cameroon today? What gives you hope in Cameroon's future? And should traditional leaders and civil society have a bigger role in the future of Cameroon? What is one reform that would most improve Cameroon? And if you respond to all of this and hit submit, then the survey is collected instantly. So I hope that some people have been taking the survey already, and we're going to see some results, right? So I see a question about I see a question about the barrier, and I think he mailed that. I'll just respond to it. This is a question that we asked ourselves repeatedly. So about 90% of Cameroonians have smartphones, right? If you have a smartphone, then you must be either using Apple Store or Google Play. If you're not using it, it's actually on your phone. And if you've been downloading apps on your smartphone, then you should be able to overcome this barrier. Without that barrier, the responses to this survey are going to be adulterated. We do not want that, because somebody can sit in their basement or in their house, if not a basement, they don't have this in Cameroon, and do the survey 1,000 times. And that will not be a true representation of what we hope to have. So to authenticate this, we want to make sure that when we get a response, it's an actual response. More than that, there's another way in which there's going to be a second way to authenticate this, because these responses are going to be time stamped, right? So we will know that the survey is authentic based on two things: that somebody logged in to take the survey, and two, that it was time stamped. Now, for those who may have challenges, right? For those who may have challenges in, say, the remote parts of the country, we also have a solution which we're going to talk about. But let me just pause and then present the surveys in French, so that we bring along our French-speaking audience. But Imelda, I hope that this provided a response to your inquiry, to the questions that you have, because we spoke about this and we thought about this as well.
Oui, le sondage est en anglais et il y a aussi une version en français. Et là, je suis dessus avec mon smartphone, donc pour dire la facilité avec laquelle on y va, il suffit de cliquer sur le lien. Il est découpé en plusieurs parties. Les questions sont vraiment simples et
Leopold, I think.
Ah bon.
Leopold, we lost you for a minute. Okay. ça va maintenant. We can hear you now.
Okay, yes. I may face some petit souci de correction, mais ça va.
Ça va bien.
Donc, il est coupé en plusieurs parties, sur les tranches d'âge, et puis sur le genre et la région d'origine. La région d'origine, les 10 régions, et puis la diaspora. Puis, nous avons le statut professionnel, puis l'identité et l'appartenance nationale. Par exemple, une question simple, est-ce que vous êtes fier d'être Camerounais? Pensez-vous que tous les groupes ethniques sont traités sur un pied d'égalité au Cameroun? Donc, puis, nous passons à la partie gouvernance et démocratie. Par exemple, est-ce que vous faites confiance aux institutions publiques? Gouvernement, Parlement, les tribunaux. Est-ce que vous pouvez prononcer sur la limitation du nombre de mandats présidentiels, par exemple? Ou bien est-ce que vous croyez aux élections libres, que les élections au Cameroun sont libres et équitables? Qui devrait détenir le plus de pouvoir? Il faudrait se prononcer dessus. Puis nous passons à la corruption, par la rubrique corruption et responsabilité. Exemple, est-ce que la corruption vous a touché personnellement ou bien dans votre communauté? Quelles sont les sanctions en matière de corruption que vous pouvez suggérer? Est-ce que public? Puis, il y a une rubrique sur la crise anglophone et la cohésion nationale. Est-ce que toutes les régions du Cameroun devraient avoir la même voix au chapitre? Le dialogue est-il la meilleure solution pour résoudre la crise anglophone? Et puis, la Constitution, est-ce qu'elle devrait garantir les droits entre les anglophones et francophones? Puis, nous passons à la rubrique jeunesse, femmes et avenir. Les jeunes Camerounais ont-ils suffisamment d'opportunités? Voilà, entre autres questions. Puis, nous avons le renouveau constitutionnel et l'avenir du Cameroun. Alors, ici, on a la possibilité de répondre, de cocher 2 réponses sur les 5 qui sont proposées. Qu'est-ce qui est le plus important pour l'avenir du Cameroun? Les citoyens devraient-ils participer directement à la rédaction d'une nouvelle constitution, par exemple? Et puis, nous terminons par des questions générales. Quel est le plus grand défi auquel le Cameroun est confronté aujourd'hui? Qu'est-ce qui vous donne espoir pour l'avenir du Cameroun? Est-ce que les chefs traditionnels et la société civile devraient jouer un rôle plus important? C'est une question. Et puis on termine par quelle réforme unique permettrait d'améliorer le plus le Cameroun? Donc voilà un aperçu de la forme simplifiée du questionnaire.
Oui, merci beaucoup, Léopold. Il faut aussi préciser que nous, Projet C ne va pas conserver ou garder les adresses email. On va garder l'anonymat de tous les participants. Et c'est précisé même dans l'introduction. Oui. So this is an anonymous survey. We're not retaining any individual's data. That's a choice we have made. Just so that everybody's privacy is maintained. So it's a completely anonymous survey. And I hope that several of you have already taken the survey. And if you've taken the survey, we can actually see in real time what are some of the results. Ivy, is that something that you're monitoring?
Et puis, en fait,
Vas-y.
le libellé des questions n'est même pas du tout engageant, en quelque sorte. C'est-à-dire que ce sont des questions vraiment d'intérêt général.
Oui.
Et je crois que nous l'avons conçu de telle sorte que les gens puissent se sentir même à l'aise et contents et surtout fiers d'y participer. Parce
Et
que
justement.
quand ils verront les résultats, ils
Okay.
cela.
Yeah, we're having some challenges, Leopold, with your network. But Eric, please feel free if you want to come in, and if you are saying something, you're muted. Yeah, Leopold, I think your network is still frozen. May have to drop out and then come back in. Yeah, that may be the best thing.
Léopold accompagnait, n'est-ce pas, l'essentiel de ce sondage que nous sommes en train de mener à travers le pays, et en donnant, n'est-ce pas, des éléments clés et des questions simples auxquelles les gens doivent répondre. Et Larry était en train de mettre un accent particulier sur l'importance de faire en sorte que tout le monde puisse participer dans ce sondage important.
Thank you. Yes,
Leopold is lost.
Leopold is back. Yeah. And now I see that we have Jean-Pierre has his hand, but sorry, Leopold. You're back.
Non, je disais que j'avais quelques petits soucis de connexion, mais ça va, je crois que les choses qui arrivent aux autres commencent aussi à nous arriver. Donc.
Yeah, before I go on to, I see Père Janvier has his hand up, but Jean-Marie had his hand up before, and I'm not.
Jean-Marie avait.
But I can't find Jean-Marie anymore. So, oh, he's here. Yeah, Jean-Marie.
Oui, merci beaucoup. Merci Aré, merci, bonjour à tout le monde. Moi, je voulais réagir principalement au niveau des deux sons que j'ai écoutés, qui sont des sons extraordinaires, composés par des jeunes Camerounais pleins de talent. Oui, j'étais impressionné d'écouter les deux sons-là. Alors, moi, ce qui c'est qu'on essaye de réfléchir sur la promotion, la présentation de ces deux sons. Dans un site comme le Palais des Sports de Yaoundé, mention éducative, mais qui ont également une dimension de sensibilisation et de formation. Ces sons-là peuvent constituer des sports marketing pour amener certaines entreprises à soutenir sur le plan du financement l'organisation de ce type de concert de présentation de ces sons du projet-ci. Même si nous n'étalons pas l'objectif immédiatement, on peut organiser au cours peut-être un week-end, une présentation comme ça de ces sons-là et révéler aux Camerounais cette jeune-là. Parce que à écouter ces sons-là, c'est vraiment par des tickets, par le sponsoring que nous pourrons attirer autour, n'est-ce pas, de ces événements-là, peuvent générer quelques ressources, à la fois pour la rétribution de ces artistes-là, pour avoir une motivation, mais aussi mobiliser des fonds pour la suite de la campagne. C'est-à-dire que faire d'une campagne l'opération deux coups. Un, présenter les sons au public, ce qui va toucher les consciences des uns et des autres, générer des ressources pour rétribuer les différents artistes, mais aussi dégager une partie. L'objectif d'apprécier la qualité de son et de se les approprier comme, n'est-ce pas, des musiques qui peuvent être promues dans leurs différents médias. Ça va faire que nous allons, passer le message sur l'objectif pour lequel nous avons fait composer ces sons, mais aussi démontrer le talent de ces jeunes-là. C'est-à-dire que les retombées et les objectifs sont multiples en imaginant ce concert-là au Palais des Sports, et on pourrait donc organiser une espèce de tournée nationale avec ces artistes-là. Et avant de décliner donc l'objectif par la suite pour éviter que les ennemis du changement, si je peux l'appeler ainsi, ne puissent court-circuiter notre idée. Voilà ce qui me vient après avoir écouté. Voilà ce qui a germé dans mon esprit. J'ai commencé la réflexion, quoi. Mais je pense que exposé ici, si nous creusons autour quelque chose de plus percutant, de plus fort encore.
Merci beaucoup, Jean-Marie. Léopold, est-ce que vous avez des réactions comme cela?
Non, disons que on a effectivement pensé aux artistes, très modestement. Jean-Marie n'est probablement pas au courant, mais bon, c'est une bonne idée, effectivement, la promotion avec associé à une campagne de levée de fonds et autres. Mais je ne sais pas, faire une tournée nationale, ça risquerait d'être difficile. Et le danger dans ce cas-là, c'est que cela pourrait peut-être laisser une perception qui n'est pas forcément celle que nous souhaitons. Ça donne l'impression qu'on fait la promotion artistique de quelque chose, alors que la musique est un support pour ce que nous sommes en train de promouvoir, justement. Bon, mais de toutes les façons, pourquoi pas, on essaye de regarder, mais dans l'un ou l'autre cas, ça demande une préparation conséquente.
Ouais.
Et les 3 mois et demi qu'il nous reste là, vu le volume de travail qu'il faut abattre derrière, tu le sais, Jean-Marie, il nous serait difficile de pouvoir mener un tel projet à terme, parler des congrès et autres. Et puis tu as bien dit, des gens qui pourraient s'y opposer, des gens qui pourraient comprendre autrement. Bon. Et ce que tu proposes suppose, et je termine là-dessus, ça suppose que les artistes sont sur place, ce qui n'est pas forcément le cas. Voilà un peu ce que je pouvais dire. Oui.
Oui. Et moi, je vais dire que objectif atteint, parce que l'objectif du son était de faire réfléchir les Camerounais. Donc, objectif d'abord premier est atteint, parce que ça
touche. Ça
touche et c'est ça l'objectif. Espérant que nous vivons dans un monde digital, que ça va devenir viral. Et si les gens partagent la musique, ça va nous amener à faire peut-être quelque chose d'une manière digitale, mais qui aura un effet et un impact dans les 2 semaines qui viennent.
Et ce qui est aussi intéressant sur ce que Jean-Marie a dit, c'est que le souhait que des radios locales et autres puissent passer cette musique. Ça, c'est intéressant.
Yeah, oui. Et ça va sortir aussi en pidgin. Donc, tous les mamans du quartier vont aussi chanter.
Et peut-être en Foufoulé, qui sait?
En Foufoulé,
Peut-être en Foufoulé. Nous avons une bonne partie des lectorats qui apprécieront le clin d'œil.
Mais Jean-Marie, on va continuer à réfléchir sur des moyens et méthodes à faire vibrer le Cameroun avec les sons.
Évidemment, évidemment, parce que ces sons sont d'une profondeur implacable, c'est-à-dire qu'en termes de messages véhiculés et même l'objectif, quel que soit le Camerounais le plus insensible, si ça touche. Le son est dansant, il est percutant, il est... les musiques des jeunes d'aujourd'hui. Maintenant, je ne parle pas du palais de congrès, mais le palais des sports, qui est un cadre beaucoup plus accessible. On dit, le problème, c'est que la musique en elle-même est un message plus le Cameroun le plus profond. Et ça participe, n'est-ce pas, de la démarche que nous suivons. Et je suis convaincu que en creusant davantage, nous allons trouver le bon filon, la bonne piste, quoi. Voilà. Merci beaucoup.
Okay.
Merci. We have le Père Janvier who has his hand up. Père Janvier.
Père Janvier. Le Père Janvier.
Well, we're not hearing from Père Janvier. This is the part where we are going to open up to how the surveys are going to be collected in Cameroon. Is really important. I hope that some of you here on this show and those of you watching us in different parts and on different platforms have been able to click on the link. I've taken the survey, and if possible, we're going to be able to look at some of the survey responses if that's possible. Père Janvier is here, and you had your hand up. Let me make sure that we're able to.
Okay. Bonjour, Avi. Bonjour, Avi. Bon, Léopold, bonjour, Eric. Bonjour tout le monde qui est là présent. Je suis content d'être là. J'ai essayé de lire vraiment du haut en bas. Bon, avec ma pauvreté, j'ai essayé de lire vraiment pour essayer de comprendre. La première chose, c'est que vous vous demandez si les chefs traditionnels et la société civile doivent participer à aux décisions politiques. Ça doit être séparé. Parce que ça doit être deux questions séparées. Parce que les chefs traditionnels, c'est deux choses différentes. Les chefs traditionnels chez nous, ce sont des gens sacrés qui ont un pouvoir théocratique. Donc, bon, je parle du pays bamileke, hein? Je parle du pays bamileke.
Oui.
Oh, aujourd'hui, je pense que...
Père Janvier, ça c'est aussi parce qu'on aura deux types de sondages. Ça,
de toutes les façons.
La version simplifiée. Et il y
donc,
aura
moi, je pense
une version qui sera plus profonde, qu'on va faire, on va cibler des personnes. Et ça aura aussi un impact. Mais cette suggestion, elle est bonne, elle est notée. Et on va donc aller en profondeur dans le sondage la longue forme de cette sondage.
Donc, moi, je disais que les chefs traditionnels ne devraient pas participer à aucune action politique. Ils devraient être nos garants de la tradition. Ça, c'est ce que je pense. Je peux me tromper. Vous avez parlé de la limitation des mandats. Moi, je pense que la question est que la réforme de la Constitution devrait passer par un référendum.
Là, mon père.
Parce que la limitation des mandats était déjà dans l'ancienne Constitution. Hein? Et l'autre, c'est le Parlement qui avait sauté le verrou. Je ne sais pas si Eric, si peut me démentir, la Constitution qui sort des tripartites en 92, hein, c'est 2 mandats de 7 ans non renouvelables. Sauf si je me trompe.
Mon père,
c'est vrai,
c'est vrai, mais ce que nous voulons faire, c'est de se libérer de tout ça. On va poser toutes les questions nécessaires et en fonction des réponses, on va prendre un recul par rapport à tout le monde, tout ce qui se passe et essayer de sortir un document qui tient compte des aspirations de tout le monde. C'est-à-dire, on va regarder, évidemment, on est conscient de tout ce qui existe, qui a existé dans notre Constitution. On est conscient de ce qui existe de manière générale dans les constitutions africaines et dans le monde. Donc, français, machin, tout ça. On va regarder tout ça. Mais en fin de compte, c'est rechercher ce qui est authentiquement camerounais et répondre donc aux attentes des Camerounais, des vraies attentes. Donc, il y a des choses, enfin, ceux qui regardent le sondage vont dire, ah, mais tout ça, on connaît déjà, on sait déjà. Non, peu importe. Nous voulons entendre des gens et puis on va prendre le recul nécessaire avec des experts.
Je suis vraiment d'accord avec tout le monde, avec tout le groupe qui a travaillé. Je ne veux pas dire qu'il n'y a pas un travail qui a été fait. Hein. Ça, c'est un travail qui a été bien fait. Mais je dis que c'est une critique positive. Ce n'est pas que je veux dire que ce travail est mal fait. Non. Non, je n'ai pas dit ça, non.
C'est compris.
Donc, mon idée, c'est comment on peut améliorer, peaufiner. C'est pourquoi j'ai dit que j'ai fait avec ma petite pauvreté, que je sais, non, la pauvreté intellectuelle, et pour bien comprendre ce que j'ai dit. Donc, quand on parle on dit par exemple, est-ce que doit passer à la rédaction de la Constitution? C'est possible. Mais il faudrait aussi que, comment on doit adopter la Constitution, que ce soit par un référendum, pas les 2 tiers, par exemple. Que ce ne soit pas un groupe de gens qui vont faire une constitution, ils disent que c'est comme ça, non.
Père Janvier,
oui.
De ce point de vue-là,
Docteur Lepon.
Oui, de ce point de vue-là, je voudrais dire que l'adoption de la Constitution, c'est une autre étape. Oui. Nous sommes dans la rédaction de la Constitution. Et ceux qui vont l'adopter et autres, ce sont ceux qui seront en position de gouverner. Maintenant, pour ce que tu as dit sur les chefs traditionnels, je disais, il faudrait qu'on fasse attention. Nous sommes en train de débattre sur des sujets éminemment politiques, mais nous sommes non partisans. Le chef traditionnel, pour administrer son village, c'est essentiellement de la politique. Mais le chef traditionnel ne doit pas être partisan. C'est pour ça que nous faisons vraiment le distinguo là-dessus. Et il est important que le chef traditionnel se prononce là-dessus parce que nous demandons, comme Eric le disait tout à l'heure, nous voulons des choses qui sont typiquement camerounaises dans notre constitution. Et il est important qu'il puisse enfin avoir l'occasion de se prononcer là-dessus parce que l'occasion ne leur a jamais été accordée. Bien au contraire, on en a fait des auxiliaires d'administration. C'est-à-dire des sujets.
Ça, c'est autant de choses que je dois jouer là, parce que j'ai pris des petites notes. Hein. Donc, j'ai préparé pour prendre des notes. J'ai lu vraiment des tidons pour essayer de comprendre
Le chef traditionnel doit être consulté, vraiment, il doit être consulté.
Je pense, Père Janvier, il faut...
Bon,
ce
que je vais faire, ce que je vais faire, Ali, parce que j'ai l'impression qu'on est en train de finir le temps est en train de nous prendre par le cou.
Oui.
Donc, de mettre ça par écrit.
Oui. Et nous envoyer. Mais Père Janvier, il faut d'abord essayer de répondre à des questions qui sont sur le sondage.
Voilà.
D'abord. Parce que on a fait ça avec, c'est-à-dire, moi j'ai des convictions à moi, mais ce n'est pas ça l'objectif. Les réponses des Camerounais à ces questions qui sont générales, c'est-à-dire c'est généralisé, vont amener des experts à réfléchir sur quel type de constitution. Parce que là, vous êtes en train d'évoquer sur des sentiments et l'expérience que vous avez. Il y a des Camerounais qui sont là, qui doivent s'exprimer sur des questions généralisées. Et ça, c'est...
Harry, moi, je suis Camerounais. Je suis Camerounais.
Oui.
Tu vas me quitter ce droit-là. Moi, je suis Camerounais.
Non. Mais moi aussi, je suis Camerounais.
Et ce n'est pas les sentiments, ce n'est pas mon cœur qui parle. C'est ma tête qui parle. Je ne parle pas avec mon cœur, je parle avec ma tête. Je dis que pour aider, je vais répondre aux questions, mais je dis, ce sont tous mes sentiments qui vont aider. Est-ce que moi, chacun va répondre selon son cœur, sa tête. Mais je dis seulement que on peut, dans le prochain sondage, améliorer et atterrir concrètement. Parce qu'en fait, sinon, si nous restons ici, là où nous sommes là, nous sommes en train de distraire les Camerounais. Parce qu'en fait, le problème des Camerounais aujourd'hui, c'est que qu'en est-il des résultats sortis des urnes le 12 octobre 2025? C'est ça le vrai problème que nous sommes appelés à répondre aux Camerounais. C'est là le vrai problème. Ça, c'est très bien. Mais qu'est-ce qu'on doit faire? Qu'en est-il? C'est derrière nous ou c'est devant nous?
Non.
Oui,
on va débattre maintenant.
Non, ça c'est un autre
chose. Ça, je dis que j'ai l'appareil dans la main. Qu'avons-nous fait de ça? C'est ça qu'on doit dire. Je dis que c'est ça le problème.
C'est deux aspects différents.
Ça peut même, je ne sais pas, je sais là où mettre ça. Je dis qu'ici, j'ai fini que moi, je vais répondre et faire aussi répondre aux autres.
La problématique de l'élection du 12 octobre 2025, c'est une chose. Nous focalisons sur la Constitution. Nous avons tiré un certain nombre de leçons. J'ai appelé ça distraire les Camerounais. C'est pas possible. La Constitution, c'est au-dessus de tout.
Léopold, excuse-moi une fois de le dire. Je dis sinon. Nous, on est en train de dire que, OK, Paul Biya continue pendant 7 ans, on se revoit dans deux machins. En 2032. Je pense que ça dit que nous sommes sur un chemin, on s'est trompé de chemin. Je pense que aujourd'hui, attendez. Léopold, ce n'est pas un débat, non? Je dis quelque chose et je me mets pour écouter les autres aussi. Je dis ceci, si nous ne faisons pas de cette manière, en 2032, on va nous servir la même soupe. On dit que ce n'est pas comme ça, on va nommer un vice-président et on va continuer à dire que ce n'est pas ça. On va continuer à dire que, bon, on va attendre, comme avait dit Tchiroma en 92, je vais marcher sur le centre des Camerounais pour aller à étudier, ou bien le professeur Maurice Kanto, ah non, je ne vais pas tuer les enfants.
C'est deux choses différentes, Père Janvier.
Je suis d'accord avec toi. Je suis d'accord avec toi. C'est deux choses différentes.
Dans l'introduction de ce jour, Eric a fait allusion, a rappelé une conversation qu'il a eue avec un sénateur et autres. Et l'idée de la médiation a été évoquée. C'est la médiation qui va régler de 2025, mon père. Mais nous, on ne va pas s'arrêter à ça. Nous voulons que la Constitution, nous voulons un Cameroun pour demain. On ne peut pas rester scotché sur ça. Des instances vont régler ce problème-là en son temps.
On ne peut pas rester scotché sur ça, monsieur Le Paul. On doit être scotché sur ça. Sinon, ça va se répéter, ça va se répéter, ça va se répéter.
In the interest of time. In the interest of time, Père Janvier, I absolutely understand your perspective. We understand it, we appreciate it. But here today, we are discussing about the future of Cameroon. We do not ignore the past, but we believe we can build the future. And we believe what we are working on is a solution that Cameroon will invariably have to reconcile with. What we are working with, there is no way our country, Cameroon, is going to become a prosperous country without reconciling its differences, without healing the past, and without developing a common vision for all Cameroonians. It is difficult for Cameroonians to let go of the present, of the past and present, and we understand that. But there is no country that has been prosperous without a clear vision. And that is the purpose of this exercise.
Ari, can I come in real quick, please?
Yes,
Sorry to cut
please.
you short. Père Janvier, je vous ai bien écouté, c'est Marilyn. Je vous ai bien écouté et ce que vous dites est très valide. Et je suis en train de réfléchir et penser à ça aussi. Je crois que tous les travaux qu'on fait sont importants. Ce que vous dites en 2035, soyez rassurés que ça ne sera pas la même chose. Moi, j'ai été au Ghana, je dis toujours parce que j'ai été au Ghana quand l'opposition a gagné le parti de Rawlings. Et ce qu'ils ont fait, ils ont utilisé la technologie, ils ont bien travaillé, ils ont utilisé le grassroots, c'est qu'on est en train de faire là. Donc, soyez assurés que ça ne sera pas la même chose à 2032. Donc, on va travailler sur ça pour être sûr. C'est-à-dire, on aura une stratégie. Donc, on est en train de réfléchir sur ça parce qu'on aura une infrastructure et c'est ce qu'on est en train de faire maintenant. Donc, ce qu'on peut faire, c'est que Léopold et Arrêt dit, on peut marcher et manger le chewing-gum au même moment. Donc, tout ce travail-là est important. La constitution et l'infrastructure qu'on est en train de bâtir, c'est cette infrastructure qui va nous aider pendant 2032 pour être sûr que les résultats, nous, on aura les résultats. Au Ghana, ils ont ce que l'opposition a fait pour commencer. L'opposition a eu un candidat. Au Cameroun, pour le moment, on n'a pas pu. Il y a cette barrière-là qu'on n'arrive pas à atteindre, d'avoir un candidat. Mais maintenant, comme on est en train de travailler ensemble, on est en train de fédéraliser les groupes, on se connaît. Avant 2032, on sera sûr qu'on a un candidat et on va travailler ensemble. Et l'opposition au Ghana, ils ont proclamé les résultats en official. Donc, avec les faits, avec tout le data, et le gouvernement a essayé de voler, mais ce n'était pas possible parce que c'était tellement scientifique, tout était là. Donc, c'est le travail, ce travail-là, on fait pas ça, c'est pas un travail qu'on va faire pendant les élections. On est en train de bâtir cette infrastructure que tu vois. Donc, soyez patients, on vous comprend. On n'est pas en train d'oublier ça. C'est un fait très important, mais il y a le travail. Voici ce qu'on est en train de faire parce qu'on est en train de engage la population pour qu'ils nous fassent confiance. On est en train, les jeunes là qui iront dans les 10 régions, dans les districts, tout ça là, voici l'infrastructure qui sera en place en 2032 pour être sûr qu'on n'aura plus ces problèmes. Merci. Et je m'excuse pour mon français, parce que j'ai tapé ma bouche.
Non.
J'ai tapé
moi, je
ma
parle
bouche.
anglais comme toi, là, je serais déjà au ciel. Mais je dis que ma fille Marlene, hein, il n'y a pas de 2032. Il doit partir avant 2032. Avant la fin de cette année. Il n'y a pas de 2032. De toutes les façons, si on est libre de choisir chacun son chemin. Il n'y a pas de 2032.
Ouais.
Il n'y a pas de 2032 vraiment. On ne peut pas.
Inch'Allah.
Ok.
J'ai ma grande sœur qui est hospitalisée à Yaoundé depuis 3 mois. On ne peut pas savoir ce qu'elle a.
Oui.
Oui,
Juste
pour dire, Frère Jean,
excusez-moi
on doit respecter
de parler comme
en
ça.
face.
Vraiment, je m'excuse.
Oui.
Ça va plus se répéter, vraiment. Mais j'ai dit.
Mais ce qui est sûr, c'est qu'on est dans une première phase de ce travail et on va rester là-dedans, on va essayer de collecter les données. C'est ça qui est le plus important en ce moment. On va réunir, n'est-ce pas, toutes les données nécessaires et c'est après avoir confectionné, enfin, après avoir réuni, n'est-ce pas, les données, qu'on va passer à la phase ultime, qui est d'analyser et puis maintenant commencer la rédaction de la Constitution telle qu'on la conçoit. Donc, on n'est pas pressé. On n'est pas pressé, même si on est pressé, on n'est pas pressé. On va respecter les différences nécessaires. Et on est là-dessus en ce moment. Et on va continuer à le faire jusqu'à ce que on est tous satisfaits, n'est-ce pas, de ce qu'on a pu collecter. Que j'ai perdu avec.
So whilst we're debating, people are taking the surveys and we're seeing the results in real time. We're seeing that we're seeing the age group of people who have taken the survey just in the last few minutes. We are able to see that 90% so far are male, which we need to be more balanced. We are seeing that people have come, most of the people who have taken the survey are from the Central region. This is fascinating for me. The people are from the Central region, and we are also seeing that 60% of the people are from the private sector. In terms of 50% of the people who have taken the survey feel proud of being Cameroonians, but what really interesting that 40% are unsure of whether they're proud of being Cameroonians. You know, the 90% do not believe that all ethnic groups are treated equally in Cameroon. That should be telling us something, or at least telling constitutional experts. Yeah, and this 100% of those who have taken the survey believe it's important for the Constitution to protect all languages and cultures. Then there's governance. Under governance and democracy, we are already seeing that 80% of the people do not trust our current public institutions. And obviously 100% say that term limits should be included in the Constitution. This is solid because it's not only from a constitutional perspective, it's not and something that it's not only that it should be included, but how do you ensure it's protected? Because that's what, when you look at the significant number of people that respond to a question, it should inform and advise how that is addressed. And 100% think that elections in Cameroon are not free and fair. And this is just a snapshot of what we're looking at. We should be the most powerful in Cameroon. 70% say power should be shared equally amongst the president, parliament, and local governments. Yeah, everybody seems to have been affected by corruption, so we should have stronger punishment for corruptions. Who should oversee public officials? There's a need for independent courts to be able to do that. 60% say that the Anglophone crisis, yes. 80% say it should be resolved 80% say we should have the regions should be equal in national matters, and 90% say the Anglophone crisis should be resolved by way of dialogue, that the Constitution should ensure equal rights for Anglophones and Francophones. 100%. We're talking about the youth. Obviously 90% of those who took it said young people don't have opportunities in Cameroon, and women are not given equal access in society. Obviously, more 100% citizens should have more say in how the country is governed. We can also look at, in terms of the constitutional renewal and future questions, and what is most important for Cameroon's future. 90% of those who took the survey said justice, and then 50% equality, and then development. And so justice and equality, this is a story that we are writing. And this is just a small sample, it's not the thousands, but this is what we want to get out of these questions. And so that these questions can be helpful for us when we come together and have a conversation. We're basing it on the aspirations of the Cameroonian people. And look, what reforms must we, what is one reform that will most improve Cameroon? And 40% on the list say better elections. That's incredibly powerful. And I just picked out only the English survey, and we have the French survey as well that we can also look at and share. So far, we've had about 4 responses in French, which I can also share. And there's a reason why these are in French and English, but it also gives us the varying perspectives of the different expressions that we have, where you can see how they respond to the various questions, and that all of that. This is almost unanimous in terms of the responses coming from those who took their questions in French. You can see very, very different perspective. And if you wanted to just look at what is most important for Cameroon's future, number one, there is unity. And the other one, which we saw, was justice. So there is a reason why this is broken down and done this way, because it's really going to give us a perspective on the kind of country that we are trying to build together. My plea to Cameroonians who may, I'm the author. I'm going to promote my book for once. I'm the author of a book called Bridging the Opportunity Gap. And one of the thesis of the book is that individuals, and I really want Cameroonians to pay attention to what I'm going to say, individuals, organizations, or countries that focus on their challenges become defined by their challenges. Individuals, organizations, or communities that focus on their challenges become defined by their challenges, while those countries that focus on their opportunities become defined by their opportunities. Cameroon is full of challenges, and every plan, every proposal, every government speech that is made is geared towards addressing our challenges. When will we stop and think about the opportunities that our country presents? The opportunities is that we have a young and growing nation. Probably the biggest opportunity we have in Cameroon is our young people. And if we can think about the destiny and future of those young people, it is more than who wins an election. It is more than what political party is in power. It is more than looking at the past and trying to figure out whether those glorious days of yesterday are going to come back. They will not. What we can build is for tomorrow, not for yesterday. Yesterday serves as lessons for us to learn, but tomorrow is where the opportunity is, because challenge is yesterday, challenge is today. Tomorrow is opportunity. Tomorrow is growth, is prosperity. And that's what we're trying for Cameroonians to free themselves of the shackles and burdens of yesterday. Stop being defined by the challenges that have plagued us in the past, and let us think about a future that liberates us of all of this, creating opportunities for millions of young people. And what this exercise does is gives us an opportunity to express our aspirations of tomorrow and how we can work together as a country to get to tomorrow. That's the way that we will build something different. And until we get to that point where we can think about tomorrow, we will not resolve the problems, even if we change the seats. Who sits on the chair? The issues remain the same because there is no vision for where we want to go. We are jumping ahead and saying, if we could just provide a vision, then maybe it helps us move from where we are to where we should be and where we should be going. And this is what we ask of you, fellow Cameroonians, is to be part of defining a prosperous future and not a shattered past. That's our call to all of you.
You can take a rest, Ray. You said it so beautifully, and I hope everybody heard you. It's important to look forward, look ahead, rather than stay on the rearview mirror. We should not. You know, Cameroon has everything to gain from us looking ahead, preparing for that future, than trying to look behind to see what happened. LND? Between a race looking forward and not looking backwards, I think, you know, that...
Ça, c'est clair, il a vraiment bien dit. Les défis, c'est ce que nous vivons en ce moment, c'est le résultat du passé, et nous devons en tirer des leçons. Et les opportunités, c'est l'avenir, et c'est ce à quoi nous invitons les Camerounais en ce moment. Évidemment, il faudrait dire que pour pouvoir vraiment travailler sur cet avenir, nous devons faire l'effort de mieux nous connaître. Et quoi de tel que le sondage que nous avons lancé ce jour? Au fait, j'ai déjà répondu au questionnaire, au sondage.
Et je vois que les chiffres sont en train de monter.
Non, mais j'ai répondu et je me suis amusé encore à vouloir refaire le sondage. Je me suis entendu, j'ai déjà répondu.
Voilà.
Donc, je ne peux pas... Je ne peux pas le faire deux fois.
C'est
donc,
une fois pour
il
le
est
bon.
important que nous nous connaissions mieux. Hein? Il est important que nous nous connaissions mieux pour pouvoir savoir vraiment quelles sont nos aspirations. La perception que nous avons, nous voulons essayer de la comparer à la réalité que nous allons recevoir des Camerounais eux-mêmes. Et c'est important. Nous n'avons jamais eu l'occasion de le faire depuis l'époque des indépendances. Il est important que les Camerounais vraiment participent à cela et l'avenir qui nous intéresse. Ce n'est pas pour nous, c'est l'avenir. C'est l'avenir. Les erreurs du passé, on en a tiré, on en a tenu compte et puis c'est l'avenir. Donc tu l'as bien dit. Et tu fais la promotion de ton livre, c'est très bien. J'en profite pour dire que pour faire la promotion du lien, Afrocratie, pour dire qu'en fait, il est important que l'Africain retrouve son identité. Parce qu'il y a tout un travail de formatage dont nous avons été victimes et qui nous amène à penser que, tout à l'heure, Père Janvier a parlé des chefs traditionnels. Oui, c'est la théocratie, en effet. Il n'y a pas d'élection, les chefs ne sont pas élus. Et pourtant, nos sociétés fonctionnaient très, très bien. Le colon est arrivé à trouver des sociétés.
C'est l'impartialité qui a fait fonctionner nos sociétés. Pas des sociétés impartiales. Aujourd'hui, ils ne le sont plus.
Oui,
ils sont du RDPC.
Non, mon père Janvier, là, c'est un constat. Nous l'avons déjà fait. Nous sommes en train de travailler sur l'avenir. Et nous disons que l'identité africaine doit être vraiment restaurée. Nous, qui sommes-nous? Qu'est-ce qui fait de nous des Camerounais? Est-ce que nous sommes fiers d'être Camerounais? Oui, mais qu'est-ce qui nous rend fiers d'être Camerounais? C'est notre identité. Si on dit, qu'est-ce qui fait de nous des Camerounais? Nous ne sommes pas sûrs que nous aurons la même réponse dans les 10 régions. Or, la Constitution, ce n'est pas une Constitution qui va s'appliquer partiellement sur le territoire. C'est pour tout le monde. Et nous invitons donc les Camerounais à s'exprimer, à ces questions, répondre à ces questions très, très simples, très basiques. Maintenant, les experts, le moment venu, après le dépouillement, nous ne cessons de dire, les experts vont maintenant mettre tout cela en musique pour pouvoir rédiger quelque chose à partir duquel chaque Camerounais devrait se retrouver. Les chefs, ok, on sait, puisque de toutes les manières, la succession, la lignée des chefs les plus respectée dans beaucoup de nos contrées. Mais est-ce qu'on va se limiter à ça?
Léo, je vais te dire seulement que n'oublie pas l'authenticité de Mobutu, hein? La zarianisation.
Oui.
C'est un discours très beau. Nous voulons être nous-mêmes, sauf ce que je veux connaître. Et ça nous a amené. Parce que je connais des Camerounais aujourd'hui qui disent que non, on ne doit pas chanter parce qu'on ne chante pas le chef. Que pour les raisons, on ne chante pas le chef. Gens qui disent ça. Donc je dis, de toutes les façons, aussi longtemps que tu auras dans mes pattes, je serai là toujours, jusqu'au jour où on va m'écouter. Je suis d'accord, mais je dis...
Oui, mon père, moi je crois que ce travail vient de commencer. On va, tout le monde, tout Camerounais tout Camerounais aura la possibilité de s'exprimer, de donner son point de vue. On aura le temps de recueillir et puis faire commencer donc cette deuxième phase d'analyse. Et même pendant cette période-là, s'il y a encore certaines préoccupations dont on n'a pas tenu compte, on le fera. Moi, je ne crois pas que c'est le moment de se décourager ou d'imposer certaines limites dans la réflexion. Ouvrons, n'est-ce pas, réfléchissons librement, invitons tout le monde à réfléchir librement, que les gens disent tout ce qu'ils veulent, mais le moment viendra où, après tout ça, on va s'asseoir, cette fois-ci, pour commencer l'analyse et l'aspect rédactionnel de ce travail. Mais on n'y est pas encore. C'est encore le champ libre, ouvert. Tout le monde est invité à participer et à dire tout ce qu'ils veulent, tout ce qu'elles veulent. Et je crois qu'en fin de compte, on aura le temps d'évoluer vers un projet définitif, une rédaction qui tienne compte de tous les différents éléments. Donc, merci.
Yes, Eric, with that said, this is critically important for Cameroonians who are listening to us to realize that we are doing this for our country, Cameroon. And there's many, many Cameroonians who are working in their own way to arrive at the same results for our country, Cameroon. And if there is one prayer, and I say this with Père Janvier here, when we pray for our country, Cameroon, I pray that we do not stand in the way of our own progress. This is incredibly important that when we pray, fellow Cameroonians, let's pray that we are not obstacles of our own progress, because that has been our biggest challenge. I respect everybody's approach for love of country, for the outcome that we all want. We want a prosperous country. If we respect everybody's approach, if we support each other's approach, we would all arrive at the same destiny and we will be more successful. So let's not stand in the way of our own progress. That is one message that I hope that we should pray for ourselves in what we are trying to accomplish, because this is not against anybody. This is not in rejection of an expression of the will of the people. This is actually embracing the will of the people. And this is not for any one sector, political tendency, opposition or government. This is for all of us. Whatever comes out of this, I hope it would inspire the government. I hope it would inspire the opposition. I hope it would inspire traditional rulers. I hope it inspires corporations and businesses that want to flourish in Cameroon. Even if that is the least thing that happens, I hope that this serves as an inspiration for our people everywhere. And that's the one prayer. And if this is important and relevant to everyone, then everyone should be involved. That's why we're asking Cameroonians first in the diaspora to support this initiative financially so that we can be able to reach thousands of people, not just online, but on the ground in Cameroon. We are recruiting foot soldiers on the ground who will go to market squares, who would go to churches, who would go to Njangi houses, who will knock on doors and will invite Cameroonians to participate in this survey. It's fascinating that we're doing this at a time when our country is struggling to have its census of its people, and it's unable to finance the census of Cameroonian people. And what we are doing at the same time is engaging the Cameroonian people in probably the same way that we would have done if we were doing a census in Cameroon. By having 1,000 young people on the ground going out to have Cameroonians express themselves in this service. And we need your help. We need everybody's help. With $10 from every Cameroonian in the diaspora, we can raise $3 million. If we think about it, just $10 from over 4 million Cameroonians, and we want to be conservative and say 3 million, just $10, or even $10 a month for the next 4 months, we will be able to raise the money that will not only pay for these young people who are doing the work on the ground and in Cameroon, because we're building an infrastructure that is covering all 10 regions of Cameroon. We need your help to be able to do this. But we also will convene a constitutional conference at the end of this, and we need to bring people from Cameroon to participate in this convention. But before that, I know people like, this doesn't end at surveys. Remember when we presented this for the first time, we said, the surveys is the first part, and this is a simplified short form survey. There's a long form survey that's going to go to targeted groups. So the traders, the teachers, the accountants, the lawyers, that will be targeted surveys to focus groups. We're also going to have conversations with focus groups. Then we're going to have public debates, televised debates. So maybe on our Zooms like this, it's going to be televised in Cameroon so that people can have a discussion about what this process looks like. And then we hope to even have other debates that will go on, that not necessarily on television, before we even get to a constitutional convention, which we hope to do somewhere in Africa. If we can do this, fellow Cameroonians, if this becomes the biggest contribution that the diaspora has made to our country, then if you were looking for one, this is it. So many times people ask this question. And we talk a lot about the diaspora. What has the diaspora done? And we can point to a million things they have done within Cameroon, from boreholes to public toilets and schools and medical missions that the diaspora has done. But this one project is a project that will live 100 years after we are gone. And that is more durable, more transformative, that will as you think about moments in history, this moment, maybe the one moment that could be more important than anything that we have done. For me, That's how I see this moment, and that's how I am approaching it. So we're getting pledges from people on this, who want to support this campaign. So if you would like to pledge, I think I know 2 or 3 people who may want to come on and voice their pledge and encourage others to join us. And I'm going to also be resharing in the chat the links or how you can contribute or be part of this exciting process for our country. So I'm going to stop here and invite. I don't know if Chris is here. Chris, if you want to join us and share your voice on just how critical and important it is for people to be part of this initiative.
I hope Chris is here. It's important that we hear from Chris. And as I always say, I want to hear from more of the ladies, but thank God Marilyn is here. But there's also, a host of other people, Jane, Judith, all the J's, and, I hope they can say something. Jacqueline, Jane, Judith, more J's. Well, if the women, I don't know what you're going to have to do to bring on more of the ladies. I missed Geraldine in Brussels last week, but I hope I'll hear her voice soon. Anyway, but it's looking like we're winding up. Still a lot of work to be done, and I'm glad that the enthusiasm level has not gone down at all.
I wasn't sure whether Chris, okay, Chris is here.
Yes, sorry, I just finished my walk, so I look a little sweaty. Hello, everybody. Hello, Cameroonians around the world. I apologize for my appearance. I just came from my sports walk for Saturday. So while following Project C, thanks, Ari. Thank you, Big Brother Eric. Thank you, Leopold, for carrying on such a wonderful program. There were moments of joy. There were moments of tears as I heard the music, as I had tears coming for the love of Cameroon in my eyes. And I could just picture some of the people in the picture. And then I just so powerful, because this is the trap we are in, Cameroonians. You talk to the average Cameroonian, they want to bring the past. Of course, we know the past. That's an expression of pain. I'm not disregarding it. But let's not fall in the trap, because that's what the government is trying to get everybody focused on. We are looking forward. We are moving forward. We're going to try a different path today. And thank you, Brother Eric, for your leadership. Thank you, Leopold. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Miley. And thank you, all of the strategic group members who are working behind the scenes. Thank you to all the platform leaders who are helping spread this message. Thank you for the artists that are joining us to spread the message in a way that we could not do. But this, I listened to President Obama today. I didn't get a chance to watch his speech live. And I'm like, this is what we are fighting for. This is us someday. This man was talking about us. He was talking about us, what we're trying to do, the process that we're trying to build, something that was done hundreds of years ago in America. We're trying to get there. That's what we're trying to do for Cameroon. Everything, if you have not listened to it, please go and take the time and listen. It will answer. It's a foundation for us. It's a foundation. And I just kept wondering, what's a guy like me who has no interest in politics doing in all of this? It's not politics for me. It's about the lives of Cameroonians. the lives of Cameroonians. We have suffered. And we should just stop talking. Let's do it. Join hands. The people that have contributed with music have given us $1 billion. You can never take it back. Everyone has talent that can give. Makes a difference. I call upon Cameroonians to stop talking, please, and theorizing. Let us come together. This is a great project. Let's not confuse it. We are not the government in power, but we are Cameroonians who value the lives of Cameroon, who want to see Anglophones and Francophones walking together, holding hands, giving water to each other. We see the blood of a Cameroonian, even that of President Biya, even that of a minister, even that of people in the government. They are Cameroonians. That's why we're not sitting here advocating for bloodshed and fighting and so forth. And you know what? Before, I was timid about coming. I'm like, this is my country. I'm not going to hide behind the scenes anymore. I'm tired of hiding and talking under the table. I'm out. Do what you want to do with us. We're out. Or join us and realize that we are children of Cameroon who love Cameroon, and we are expressing our cry. This is not a joke. Do we understand what Brother Eric is going through as a human being with what he is doing to his life? Do we understand what Array and Eli and Leopold and others and that this is not a joke. For me, I'm a naive guy. Just I'm just here because I'm a passionate Cameroonian and I'm tired of just talking. So, Cameroonians need to rise. We appreciate every approach that Cameroonians are taking. It's all towards the same thing because we love Cameroon. If anyone works, we're going to dance. But we believe in this approach that we're taking because the approach includes the process that will unite Cameroon and then develop that constitution that supports what the survey is saying. I really did a good job on Leopold going through to share some of what is coming, and it demonstrated what the end game is for us. I thought that was so practical to give people an idea of where we're heading. So now, all that said and done, we need money. As we speak, we have to raise $50,000 in the next 2 weeks to support those young men and women on the ground carrying on this survey. We have to take care of them. $50,000. And then over the next 4 months, we need at least $3 million or more to be able to support all the different aspects that will lead to this constitutional conference. And like I said, $10. If you love Cameroon, what we're asking everybody listening to this program, please turn around and take the link and share with 10 people and tell them $10, that's all we need. If you can give 100, 1,000, 10,000, we'll appreciate it. But just throw the $10 at this project and forget about it if you don't want to be part of it. Just throw it in. We have supported the campaign in the past during elections, and we will continue to support. I will start my pledge today with $1,000 towards the project, and we will continue to support. My hope is that by the end of this program, more Cameroonians are going to put in $5, $10, $1,000, $10,000, whatever that you have. Please, please, it's time for us to stop talking. My today doesn't end here. We're going to fight for this project all the way. I want to see that prototype constitution develop, that we can show Cameroonians that this is how we're going to protect you, and find leaders who are going to take it and implement it. Yes, we are not in the government, but that document is going to help Cameroon. So let us reach out to every Cameroonian in Cameroon, everywhere, to put $10 at least. And let us fight to raise that 50,000 today, very quickly, to make sure that we are supporting these champions on the ground to carry on this survey, the short form and the long form, and will also lead us towards the town halls. And then make sure we have that $3 million coming in so that we can start planning and sponsoring and getting the locations and bringing the chiefs and the Ben Sekinas representatives to that conference, because every Cameroonian will be represented. If you are asking what you're going to do with 3 million, that's it. That's what we're talking about. Not very difficult. So thank you all. I am a proud Cameroonian. I'm a proud Mancon boy. I'm a proud Anglophone. I'm a proud Cameroonian who speaks broken French. And I just love to hear my French brothers speak, and we speak Pidgin, we mix it up, we do everything. And that is the most unique aspect of me being a proud Cameroonian. So let's together make this work financially. Thank you all. Thank you. And let's get the pledges going.
Thank you so much, Chris, for leading the charge and pledging to support this financially. I see that there have been questions by Dr. Dita. I see several questions. And Dr. Dita, you may just be joining us. We've been talking about this in the last 4 weeks or so, the last month or two, really about how we intend to do this. The goal of this exercise, Dr. Dita, is to engage and mobilize Cameroonians in ways that we never have, or with a goal of, I used the analogy last week that, if you go to the dentist and with toothache and he prescribes painkillers for you, and 2 weeks later you have to go back and he prescribes painkillers for you, then the solution is not pain in your tooth. It's actually your root canal, which has to be addressed. What this project does is provide. Next
time you go there with a dentist killer.
Dentist killer. You go. This project is really to provide a sustainable solution to Cameroon's crisis. And to your question about how we're going to make this happen, this is why we're talking about fundraising now, because we want to make sure that this reaches people across the country. We're working with young people of our country whose destiny, whose future, all of this matters, right? It's for them that we're doing this. And it's incredibly important that Cameroonians understand this. We're building a future that we do not see ourselves in. We have to come to terms with that. It's their future that we're building. But we have the responsibility. Voilà. We're trying to build that future, and the strategy that we have in place is really grassroots mobilization. people will take these surveys in remote parts of our country in ways that we've never seen being done in the past. That's what we're hoping and we're trying to do. This is possible in Cameroon. And so we're asking for everyone to help us in this process. The questions, they're great, but we encourage people to participate in helping us achieve the questions that are being asked, right? If you want to know how we can, there is a strategy. We meet every week. We've been working on this. We have a team that's been built in all 10 regions, in all 58 divisions, in all 360 subdivisions of Cameroon. This is the infrastructure that we have built, that we have in place, but we want to make that infrastructure functional, and which means that we have to apply resources to it. Chris has challenged us. We've thrown the first $1,000. I don't know if Kenneth is here, because Kenneth Nde, I can't see Kenneth, but Kenneth was here. Kenneth has also pledged $500 into this campaign. So we're going to keep the pledges going. And we have the link in the chat for those who would want to know how to donate, please. You can use any of the methods, whether it is by going to the Project Cameroon website and donating. You could donate through Cash App. You could do Zelle if you're in the United States. You could do PayPal if you're in Europe. So every contribution, we're asking basic $10 per person. But also we're asking you, each one of you, to share the surveys, to make sure your brothers and sisters are taking this surveys, your colleagues, your friends, people in the various groups that you are in, participating and taking these surveys, so that we can get maximum response of at least a minimum response of at least 1% of the population, of the 30 million population of Cameroon. That's our goal. Marilyn, I see you have your hand up.
Yeah, hi, Are. I just wanna. I was just asking how people in Africa and other parts of people in Cameroon and other parts of Africa can, if you can think about that, just so it's inclusive and everybody feels a part of it. Yes, the diaspora is leading. However, we want to be inclusive, and that was just my contribution. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And that's where the PayPal comes in, because that people in other parts of the world can contribute using PayPal. And if you have a Gmail, it's pretty easy. But even more importantly, let us not ignore the contributions of Cameroonians. We do not want to put anybody at risk in Cameroon, but we are very, very willing and able to collect donations from Cameroon. All you simply need to do is send a message to me, to Eric, or anyone who is part of the Project C, or join the Project C forum, and just send a private message to us, and we'll be able to coordinate donations from Cameroon. We will be thrilled and excited to get donations from Cameroon. And if any of the methods cannot work, because even with a Visa card in Cameroon, if you go to our website, projectcameroon.com/donate, you could actually make a donation using a Visa card or MasterCard anywhere in the world. If you also have a PayPal account, you could also make that donation. But we're also going to be working, with other forms to facilitate this process, and we'll think about it, whether it's using mobile money or what are the other forms. But we also are careful not to put anyone at risk. We are respecting everyone's anonymity. So when you make your donation and you want to be anonymous, we would also respect that. So we're hoping to see some anonymous donations also come in. But this is the exciting work that we have been doing that has gotten us to this point. And comme on dit en français, la balle est lancée. Let us go out à la guerre comme à la guerre to make sure that we are able to accomplish this once and for all for our country.
I just want to add to that, that you know, since I'm amongst all of us, I'm the worst when it comes to requesting for funds, because I don't know how to do it. You guys do it so well. But I'm going to be happy to step into this process. And if anybody listening to us or knows people, I'll be more than happy, and I know Ari will, Paul will, more than happy to make calls to people that may be interested. Do not hesitate to maybe give my phone number to anybody who's interested in making these contributions. Chris, I know you've got a Rolodex that is so rich, and if there are people on it we need to talk to, we'll be more than happy to talk, to bring in others, and and help them come to a point where they can make contributions to everything. I want to make it clear that I'm willing to step into the dance and make calls as necessary to drive the fundraising, to share the information, to give our numbers to people we can call. Ari can call, I can call Leopold, as any which way, Chris. Let us step up our fundraising effort.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that this week will be decided, as Chris, and I know Ken, and also Dave, a host of others, Alan, Dr. Alan Tita, I know, has been a major contributor to these efforts, and as we go forward, I know he'll be doing more, and the rest of us. So thank you all. Let's this coming week is decisive. We can keep things going on it. Thank you.
Yes,
I know it's Ari. I know we're running out of time. I hope we can bring this to.
Yes. Thanks, Eric. We're having some technical challenges with the sound.
But why does it freeze?
Yes, but we got most of what you were saying. We encourage Cameroonians to support us. Leopold, if you have any closing remarks.
Rien de plus, c'est que nous avons déjà distribué les liens pour les sondages.
Yeah.
Et il faudrait que ce soit vraiment ventilé le plus dans le maximum de forums. Et nous avons vraiment besoin de cet appui financier pour pouvoir soutenir les équipes sur le terrain. Et nous sommes confiants. Et le démarrage que nous avons eu il y a 2 jours avec Kenneth et aujourd'hui avec Chris, c'est très encourageant. Chris démontre que vraiment, il méritait de faire partie de l'équipe de Barack Obama. Kenneth, Dr. Alan Tita et autres, voilà des poids lourds.
All right.
Il faudrait que comme tu le disais, $10, si on a 3 millions de personnes qui donnent $10, je crois que ça nous permet de mener à bien le projet de la convention constitutionnelle que nous envisageons. C'est mi-octobre, parce que les fonds, on en a besoin assez tôt. Parce que la convention est prévue pour mi-octobre. Donc voilà un peu, Harry.
Okay, so I would say that we're at $2,000 in contributions so far as of today, and we need to go 48,000 more in the next 2 weeks. Who will be the next? I'll be looking at the donations.
The next will be anonymous.
Yes, we'll be looking at the donations online, and we'll be sharing in the WhatsApp groups. And we'll, again, next week, we'll also give you an update, not only on contributions, but also on expenses, so that there's full transparency in the process, and also the results that we're going to be achieving. Next week, we're going to be doing training with the groups that are going to be working on the ground in Cameroon, first with our regional coordinators, and then subsequently with the subdivisional coordinators. And that's how we're going to be. So there's so much work that is taking place behind the scenes. I'm truly grateful to everyone, to Ivy that worked on putting this surveys together, to the team, to Ben Zamar who worked on the music, to the team, to Nyepo and Sydney who are working on the ground in Cameroon, to everyone, some of them we cannot cite their names, to our donors and the contributors, to you all that show up here every Saturday and showed up again today, and hopefully will show up tomorrow. And those of you that are listening on the various platforms, we're deeply grateful for your support. This is the time for us. This is our time in Cameroon, and let us work together to build a future. I'm going to end by once more sharing the text.
Okay.
For decades, Cameroonians have watched us hope slip through our fingers. Decisions about our future made behind closed doors. Our voices drowned out by power and politics again and again. We have been told who we are and what we must accept. Cameroon's destiny has been shaped by others. Cameroonians are waking up and demanding change.
What kind of country do we want?
What makes us
Cameroonian?
the soul of Cameroon
Is shaped
not by what divides us,
but by what unites us.
oh,
What kind of country do we want?
what makes us.
Cameroonian,
Imagine a movement not of politicians,
but of people.
imagine every corner of this country, every hamlet, village, town, city,
Every region,
rising together with one purpose,
not for an election,
not for power,
but for one nation.
once and for all. Imagine putting country over self-love, over hate. Cameroon, not tribe, language, not region. The soul
All of Cameroon is shaped,
not by what divides us.
but by what unites us.
Imagine a movement not of politicians, but of people. This is not a dream.
This is Project C.
Imagine the street vendors, the motorcycle taxi drivers, the trade unions, traditional rulers, professionals, and the diaspora, working together everywhere for something bigger than any one of us. Oh, for the first time we,
The people
will come together to answer the hardest, most important questions. How do we finally lay to rest the ghost of the past and create a future where every citizen belongs? Over the next 4 months,
we will listen,
we will debate, we will draft a new
Constitution,
oh, one that reflects our diversity,
our dreams,
our determination to build a Cameroon of dignity,
peace,
and prosperity.
this This is a movement born of the people.
For the people, no more decision.
They for us, without us.
No more waiting for permission to hold. A new Cameroon is possible. Hey, not determined by our colonial past, but by our common future.
Join the movement for a new Cameroon.
This is Project C. This is a movement born of the people, for the people.
A new Cameroon is possible.
Join the movement
For a new Cameroon.
Join the movement for a new Cameroonian.
Thank you all. We will stay engaged during the week. We'll be back next week to continue the conversation and sharing with you progress that has been made. Thank you. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody.
The recording has stopped.